Surveillance using facial recognition technology used to be a dystopian fever dream, and now it's an unfortunate reality. Already, cameras around the world in theaters, supermarkets, and government buildings are sending a live feed to the cloud, where AI scans faces in real time and runs them through undisclosed lists of banned individuals. The practice has become so commonplace that it threatens the rights of more people than just criminals. Kelly Conlon, a law-abiding senior associate at a New Jersey personal injury firm, found this out firsthand when she was taking her daughter on a Girl Scout trip to see the Rockettes at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. Unexpectedly, she was apprehended by security and escorted off the premises, but she did nothing wrong. Her only infraction was being employed by the firm engaged in litigation with MSG Entertainment, the company behind the Rockettes. The company states that their policy is fair and banning lawyers from firms suing them is in their best interest, but Ms. Conlon was not one of the lawyers involved in the lawsuit. Representatives of her firm alleged that denying her entry to the premises was not necessary and possibly retaliatory in nature, whether she posed a threat to MSG Entertainment or not. The mass deployment of facial recognition to permanently bar people from establishments raises an important ethical question. Should we have the right to enter public businesses without our facial data being stored on their servers? A while ago, I was walking the floor at a Vegas casino when an employee approached me. She asked for my ID to confirm my age. As I was over 21, I had nothing to worry about. The employee was quite friendly, and we engaged in casual conversation, where she told me about teenagers with counterfeit IDs who tried to game the system. According to her, anyone who engages in this activity is swiftly banned for life, and their faces are uploaded into a database used by a sprawling network of casinos in Vegas. If they walk into a Vegas casino ever again in their lives, they'll be swiftly identified with facial recognition technology and escorted off the premises. I smiled at this information and politely asked the employee if I could opt out of my face being scanned and compared against this database, and the employee said, "I wish." I was never informed that the casino was recording my biometrics, and I never signed any consent forms permitting them to do this. Simply by walking into most casinos, you are subjected to biometric surveillance the second you are in view of their cameras. In most states and towns in the US, this practice isn't illegal at all, and many legislators don't have a problem with the use of this technology, likely because facial recognition makes things easy for the US government. One investigation found that 20 out of the 42 US federal agencies involved with law enforcement were already using the technology in 2021. Governments around the world have begun to embrace facial recognition technology because it's automatic and requires minimal personnel to run these systems. Reportedly, for people's convenience, governments and businesses are deploying AI systems to do tasks that don't require the mass collection of biometric data. In Moscow, for instance, fumbling around with Metro cards is a thing of the past. Why pay the normal way when you could simply walk right through the turnstiles as cameras send your biometric data to the cloud for analysis, charging your account automatically? Payment systems will likely be the largest use of facial recognition technology. Tapping your phone or inserting your card might soon be replaced by simply walking in front of a camera. Self-checkout has already taken over stores as they employ fewer and fewer cashiers. At some hours of the day, using self-checkout may even be your only option. While most stores today rely on cumbersome systems that require you to scan each item, newer systems use networks of cameras to track what items you put in your cart and charge your account, and you can simply walk out the door when you're done shopping. Those stores that do this, like Amazon Go, don't require the use of biometric data. Some future systems likely will. Instead of turnstiles where you have to scan QR codes, you can simply walk right in once your face has been scanned. No opening an app required. But a system like that would likely serve an additional purpose. Shoplifters could be caught and banned from entering a store, and this technology is allegedly used by major US chains already, including Macy's and Albertsons. While shoplifters are the main targets of these systems, this doesn't mean no one else is affected by the use of facial recognition. To run these systems, all customers' faces are scanned, processed, and compared against the store's database. The store can collect and archive as much data as they please. It's possible that private businesses will soon have some of the largest collections of biometric data in the world, surpassing those of many governments. Having your biometrics in these databases makes these companies a target for hackers who have breached large companies in the past, including Macy's and Albertsons. Your face may just become yet another bit of information sold alongside this illegally obtained data. Of course, this assumes that hackers even need to use illicit methods to obtain this data. If you search for your name on Google Images, there will probably be at least a few pictures of you that show up in the results. It's a lot easier to just scrape your face and name off the internet. Even if you don't have a social media account, if any of your friends or family post you online, a bot can incorporate that post into a large database of faces, such that if someone wants to find you just from a picture of your face, they can. Clearview AI is a company notorious for doing this. They've faced legal action from many social media companies who claim that their scraping of data violates their terms and conditions. But despite this, business is booming at Clearview AI. They sell access to their database of faces to governments to track down criminals, and because of its size, it usually yields results. According to its founder, the database uses more than 10 billion images scraped off the web. Though they admitted to selling their services to governments, they initially denied that they sold their services to private corporations. But a data breach revealed that many private companies were allegedly among their customers. Unless you pay exorbitant sums of money for access to Clearview AI's database, which is usually kept under lock and key, or live in a state with strict consumer privacy laws, you'll never know that your face is stored on their servers. Clearview AI's facilitation of tracking down criminals has been criticized as unethical, and some question the effectiveness of this technology as well. Facial recognition is largely accurate, but when deployed on a massive scale, it lands innocent people in jail, and this has already begun to happen. For instance, 28-year-old Randall Reed was pulled over in Georgia and jailed for a week after a facial recognition search wrongly determined his face was a match for a robbery suspect, despite that suspect not having the distinctive mole Reed had on his face and being an estimated 40 pounds heavier than he was. 3 other men, Robert Williams, Michael Oliver, and Niger Parks, were also arrested and then later released by police after being misidentified by facial recognition software. It's clear that facial recognition technology is starting to harm innocent people's lives, and many organizations and activists around the world are calling for a ban on facial recognition as a tool of surveillance. Laws requiring consent and the ability to opt out of your face being used in a database would allow for people to have control over their biometrics. It's not too late to stop the deployment of facial recognition, and by lobbying the government and holding businesses accountable for abusing the technology, we can take back our future and our faces. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. This is a brand new channel and it really helps. Goodbye!